everyone! So I would just like to share a very huge milestone for me, and I know some of you guys have been with me throughout this journey. And now I want to officially announce that I have graduated from my 2-year diploma program. Now I'm done with my business administration program in Bow Valley College. So now, what is the next step after you graduate? Now, one advantage of going through the study pathway is after you graduate, if you graduate from a public school or a DLI that offers postgraduate work permit, then you will be able to obtain a postgraduate work permit after you finish your studies. And we'll have a separate video about postgraduate work permit, but essentially, if you finish a 1-year program, it's going to give you the same length for the postgraduate work permit. So if you complete a 1-year program, it's going to be 1 year. It's going to be a 1-year postgraduate work permit. Or if you get a 2-year program, or if you take 2 certificates, so meaning 1 year plus 1 year, that 1 year plus 1 year, okay, that will give you up to 3 years postgraduate work permit. And the good thing is you can still apply for your dependents. Your spouse can be on an open work permit, and your children as your dependents can be on a study permit. Or if they're below 5 years old, you can apply for a visit visa for them or a visitor record. So this postgraduate work permit opens you to a whole lot of other opportunities to be able to migrate to Canada. There are different pathways depending on which province you are, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. Now, this video is aimed to give information on how to be able to apply for a postgraduate work permit. So this video will take you through the steps on how to apply for a postgraduate work permit online, okay? Because you can do a paper-based application or an online application, but I believe it's mostly going to be the same for the documents. The only difference is your method of submission. So since I will be submitting my postgraduate work permit, I thought of sharing it with you guys as well. Let's just go through the step-by-step process on how to be able to successfully submit your postgraduate work permit application. And in this video, since I have my family with me, this will also be an application for my husband for his open work permit, and for my 3 kids, they will be for a study permit application. Anyway, so I'll be sharing a couple more information. So with the postgraduate work permit, the main requirements that you can see here are the forms, of course. And for the principal applicant, which is the student, the first one is definitely you need to have the completion letter from your school and the recent and a copy of transcript of records. So this can be unofficial. If there's a way for you to get them on your school's website, you can use that, or you can also wait for the original one if it's not going to take too long. In my case, it took only a couple of days because it's electronically sent, so I had to wait for that. And then if you have dependents that you would like to submit an application as well, you have to have a current job, part-time, full-time, doesn't matter, as long as you have a job under NOC O, A, or B. And you also have to provide 3 payslips. So it doesn't matter. I don't think it has a bearing if you're being paid weekly, bi-weekly, or on a monthly basis. That's okay, as long as you can provide 3 payslips, should be fine. And also make sure to attach your study permit, or yes, a study permit. And this is what has been sent to me by the IRCC agent when I called in. And you should also attach a proof that your job is under NOC O, A, or B. That's it. And of course, don't forget the COE, Certificate of Employment, or job offer from the company, or a contract, whichever that can prove your employment with the company. So those are the 4 things that was stated in the email of the IRCC agent when I called in, and they sent me an email about a couple of information about PGWP, and that has something to do with submitting application for my dependent. So take note, guys, that the postgraduate work permit is only issued once in a lifetime per person. We have to make sure we use it well. We have to strategize ourselves in which pathway we're looking forward to use for the permanent residency, because you're never going to get it again. Even if you study again, you're not going to get a PGWP. And also make sure to check the eligibility of the PGWP as well. There are certain factors on how to check if you would be eligible for that. What I'll do is I'll link this down below. I'll link the website where you can check those information, but I'll definitely make sure to make another video about PGWP with a whole lot of other information about that. Let's go! Okay, so let us start our postgraduate work permit application. So anyway, I have already done a couple of things to this. So this is basically where I will upload the application, but I will go through all the steps again just so you guys know what it looks like and what the whole process is all about. Okay, so first that you have to do is go to the CIC website. So this is the Government of Canada's Immigration and Citizenship website. This is the same website where you have, if you have already applied online for a study permit, a work permit, or a tourist visa, or a visitor record, any of those, if you have already applied online, then you can do that there as well. So this is the GC Key account. And if you also have tried creating an express entry profile, this is where that happens as well. Okay, so cic.gc.ca, English, and my application. Sign in or create an account. Since I already have an account, a GC Key account, I will go with this. And my details are already there. Be careful. Be sure to read the terms and conditions. Okay, so these are the applications that I have submitted. So everything is in there. As you can see, it's 5 pages. You can just imagine how many applications we've done, but I will make a separate video about that. Okay, now if you have not started your PGWP application yet, where you have to go is below. Where you have to go is here. Start an application. To apply to come to Canada, there will be a series of questions that you have to answer. And after you answer that, it will give you the list of documents that you have to submit. So it's really very easy. So since I have already done that, you can see that there's already an application here. So initially you have 60 days to submit that. Now I only have 24 days left. So I will just click on continue application. So you can save, you can get out, go back to the application as many times as you'd like to. Then I will continue the application. So just to show you what the questions were like if you're just starting an application. Here we go. This is also going to give you the option to review your answers in case you need to modify, in case you want to recheck it and and make sure every detail is correct. You can do so here. Now this is for me and my family. So there's an option that will ask you if you are submitting another application for a family member. So when you tick yes, it's going to ask you a couple of questions about the individual. And it's also going to be listed here. You can file your dependent's application under the same GC Key account as well. So these are the questions. What would you like to do in Canada? How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Passport details, country of residence. Do you have a family member who is Canadian? And we're just going to go through this quickly. I will scroll down so you can see that. This is like the same details when you apply for a study permit. So there's just a couple of questions that they ask so that they can come up with the correct application for you and the correct documents as well. There. So we were not required any medical exam anymore because we're not going to work in a healthcare industry. There. So these are, if you answer yes to any of these, then you will be required a medical exam. Also, if you're not going to work here, but you have been living, but you have lived 6 months in the last year in a medical required country, then you have to do a medical exam. For example, if I was in the Philippines 6 months in the last year, then I will have to go through a medical exam because I will be staying more than 6 months. Okay, this is for the part where, do you want to submit an application for another family member? Yes, and it's going to ask you a couple of questions about that. That family member. And so this is quite long because I have 5 members in the family, so my spouse and 3 children. So it's just the same question for all of them. Okay, then let's continue. So these are just some reminders. Okay, now the most important part here is you don't have to sign your application for the forms. Like, you don't have to print it out and send it over because it's electronic. There's just an electronic signature at the end that you need to do, and that should be all. And then you pay online. Okay, now after I have given the questions to the answers, then the documents, then here are the documents that I would need to submit. It's in section, which is really nice. So for example, this first one is my section. So it's going to give you the application forms and then supporting documents. It's already all listed, so you really know what you need to submit. And there's optional documents. So let's go through one by one. Now, the first one is the form, to add the application form to change conditions. And now, since I am from a student visa, then I will be changing my condition to a work permit, a PGWP. And of course, supporting documents, these are all mandatory. I need to have a transcript, completion of studies from my school, passport, this passport bio page. Plus, it also mentions that you have to submit any pages with stamps, visas, or markings. So there's instructions that you can just choose from, just in case you get confused. And family member form, marriage certificate, digital photo, optional documents. I did submit that. It's optional, but I actually don't need to submit that because that's TRV made outside of Canada. So I'm inside Canada, but just want to make sure it's all there. Client information, this is any other document if you would need to provide a letter of explanation. For this one, I provided a letter of explanation that I am applying for my dependents as well. And I explained my situation, that I am working as a senior recruitment consultant. It's a skilled job because for you to be able to apply your dependents at the same time, or succeeding, but for you to be able to apply for them, you need to have a job, a skilled job, a skilled NOC OAB, and you need to provide 3 pay slips. So that's where I submitted, and I also submitted a job offer and my certificate of employment, just proof that I am working. So those are, so this is where I put all of those in. Any other thing that you would like the immigration officer to know, this is where you put that in. And then this is for my family member. See, there's already names and there's the date, their date of birth. So application form, passport, and actually that's it. It's very easy for the dependents because you only need to submit a form and their passport, and that's it. But I will be submitting. So this is how it looks like if you have not yet provided that. So I will upload one because my husband has work already. And I just want to make sure, to strengthen the application. I have compiled everything here. So we have a letter of explanation. I've submitted his work permit and his COE, everything just to strengthen the application. Although it's not required, but I like to be extra, you know. Okay, just want to make sure, you know, I make sure I check it all the time. So let me check. So this is 1256. Okay, I think this is the last one. So you can see that's 41 pages because I did submit even the NOC screenshots, work permits, and correspondences with his future work, all of those. And my payslips were here as well. I provided all my documents for each of their applications as well, just so, you know, I've had refusals before that they were not able to see the documents, so I made sure to include all of those. There. Okay. And when you have uploaded that, it's going to be there. So you have the green marks, and I think that's really helpful. Okay, and next one is for my child. So again, it's a form for their study permit extension, passport, and client information. I just provided schooling documents, report cards, and letter of explanation, and my documents as well. I don't think that's needed, but I just want to make sure because I'm paying more than $1,000 for this application. Okay, next for my daughter. Okay. And that's it. Now these are the fees that I have to pay. Work permit. For work permit, you're paying two things. You have the actual work permit and the work permit, open work permit holder fee. So total is $255 per work permit application. Biometrics, my husband has already had his biometrics before he came here to Canada, so this amount is only for me. But if you are going to be getting a biometrics, a family biometrics, for example, but this is only for 14 years old, I guess, and above. So if there were 3 of us, it's only going to be 170, regardless, as long as it's a family application biometric. Spouse, wife, and then there's kids who are over 14 years old, then it will still be 170. So I guess that's the maximum amount, which is good that they have a maximum amount already. And then for study permit, now it's 150 per kid, so 450 for them. And if you're going to be applying for a tourist visa or a visitor record or a visa extension, if you have children 4 years old and below, which is not yet of school age, so you cannot apply for a study permit for them, then that's $100 each. Now this one is, so the total pricing is $1,045. Now this one is still not inclusive of the tourist visa. So this is just for the permits, and the permits you cannot use that for re-entry. So if you go out of the country, you are not able to go back because technically your visa is not included in that. So we still have to apply for the visa after this, and the tourist visa is going to be $100 per applicant. So 5 of us is 500. So the total pricing for the whole PGWP application, including permits and the visa, so 1,045 plus 500. So we're talking about 1,545, which is a huge amount, right? Okay, and then that's not it, because when you apply for permanent residency, I think it's going to be more than that for sure. So yes, and since 2 of my kids, and you have to make sure that you renew your passport, because if you don't renew your passport, let's say you are qualified for a 3-year postgraduate work permit, but your passport expires by next year, they're only going to give you the permit until next year based on your passport expiry. So if you go with that scenario, what you can do once before your PGWP expires and you have already renewed your passport, you just have to make sure that you file for a PGWP extension. But again, you're going to be paying another amount for that, another fee for that. It's the same fee as this one. And you have to apply on paper as much as I know, and it takes, you have to submit documents again, and you submit it by paper, as far as I know. I don't think there is an option to apply online yet. But yes, and it takes a couple of months again. So I don't know, it's best to renew your passport because Philippine passports anyway are 10 years validity. So just renew your passport because we had this issue as well. That's why we don't have passports for two of my kids. They're renewed passports. So we included a letter of explanation as well that we're just going to be submitting the new passport once it arrives because it's already in process. It just takes at the moment, based on the Philippine consulate in Calgary, takes about minimum of 3 months for the passports to arrive, for the passports to be sent back to the owner. So it's best to be prepared. This is one thing that I actually forgot during the process because I was very, very busy with work, with school, that I totally forgot about the expiry of our passport and that we're going to apply for PGWP soon. Okay, so what I'll do right now is I'll just double check if I forgot any information, and then we're going to proceed to pay. Okay, and now I have confirmed everything, and I think we are ready to submit. I don't like this part because I always think if there's something missing, and if you submit it, that's it. Some of these officers would get back to you if they have any questions, if you have any other missing documents, if they have clarifications. But some visa officers, those that have checked our papers before for study permit, work permit, visitor visas, they refuse you right away. And then you just need to reapply and address whatever their question was if there was any missing document. So you have to make sure that everything's complete when you submit it. So this is the declaration in electronic signature. This is like a summary, and I have to agree to this, and then I will just give my electronic signature. So it's easy as that. Place of hometown. Okay. Okay. Make sure you have your payment information ready. Your account will sign you out after 20 minutes. I think I'm good. Oh my god. 1,045. After you select transmit, you will have 2 hours to enter your payment information. If you take longer than 20 minutes, you'll be signed out of your account. Okay. Transmit and pay. Gonna pay Visa. Oh my god, that was fast. Okay, so this is my transaction receipt. So I will make sure to save that. Oh my god, that was actually very fast. Okay. Congratulations, and I'll keep a proof of this too, just because I like keeping proof of everything else. There. But I know I'm going to have an email about this, and you can also go back to your application. You can also go back to this website, right? And you're going to see that you have submitted an application. Okay, and then let's exit the questionnaire, and I want to go back just to see. Okay, there. It is actually already there, but it takes a little bit of a time to put in the application numbers here. So there are new messages. Let's check the new message. Okay, confirmation of online application transmission. Okay, so they're going to review the information, and we will notify you by email if you require additional information of documents. That is good if they actually, get in touch with you if they require any information or documents. And then if you have any application changes, it is your responsibility to notify us of any changes to your application, examples of changes. If you move, get a new phone number. So I think this is where the passport issue is going to be taken into consideration, because I called IRCC and I told them I cannot wait for the new passport. So the agent told me that I can submit the application with the old passport and then just include a letter of explanation that we already renewed our passport and submit proof of documents. And then once we have that new passport, then we inform them of those changes. So probably it's going to be a web form to give them the new information and maybe submit a copy, or I don't know if they're going to let me submit a new form with the passport details. So we'll see how that goes, but I'll keep you guys posted. Now, the most important part is the application processing times. So this is how you check the processing times. Now, this is work permit from inside Canada. And there you go. It's 84 days right now. And I think this has decreased already because I think a couple of months ago when I was asking about processing times, how long it took them to get the approved PGWP, took them about 5 to 6 months. But maybe that was because of COVID. So if we're talking about 84 days, we're looking at about less than 3 months. But now, since I have already applied, then I am on implied status. So I don't think there's a document here that I can like submit or anything that I'm already on implied status, because I have to extend a couple of government documents. And that's it. I hope I was able to give you some information that may be helpful in your PGWP application. If you have any more questions about the whole processing, I may not have been able to discuss technicalities because I just want to generally take you through the whole the process of doing the application and submitting the application. But if you want to know more about it, about the documents, you can get in touch with me. My comment box is always open, and I have my Facebook page all about Canada and Explore with Agatha. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.